And like,
And we are live. You can catch us on Twitch, YouTube, Facebook, and Rumble. And don't forget to like and subscribe. We'll be right back with you, Howlers. We'll be right back. Howls over Baz. I'm Jacob Casas.
I'm Rico Savage.
And we have a very special guest today. He has a product out that's just killing it right now. I'm going to let him introduce himself and tell our audience a little bit about who you are and what you do.
I appreciate you guys having me here.
Sure.
My name's Chris Kanik. I'm the CEO and founder of Smartcups. The Smartcups is a sustainability technology that allows for the printing of ingredients on surfaces. In 2021, we were recognized on Time Magazine's 100 Best Inventions of the Year. And most recently, I was featured on Season 1 of Gordon Ramsay's Food Stars, which I ended up winning and earning his investment of $250,000. So Gordon Ramsay is a shareholder in Smartcups.
That is so badass, man. Like, that is so cool that you're able to do that with somebody like so big, you know?
I watch him all
It's
the
not
time.
easy to do that kind of stuff.
Oh, it's
Probably easy for him. Probably that's what he does.
No,
for
it's
us,
not.
For us, it's hard. For us, it'd be hard.
I'm a scientist, so I'm not a cook.
I want to get into that, but I want to let the audience know because we keep it real raw on here, almost like barroom talk, right?
All right, cool.
So I was introduced to him by a friend of mine, Caesar. We had him on the show. It was the Crown Gold Exchange. It was a really good episode. So Caesar introduced me to him. He said, "Hey, you need to have this guy on." And then I started looking you up, and I was like, "Wow, this stuff's crazy." So I just wanted to let the audience know about a little bit about why you're on, what's going on, and you know.
The stuff's crazy. The guy behind the stuff is even crazier. So
Hey, we have to be a little bit when we're entrepreneurs.
you have to.
Entrepreneurs, because they have to see things that nobody else sees.
There's no plan B.
So we got to be a
You know
little
what I mean?
crazy.
There's no blueprint.
All money in.
There's no blueprint. There's no guide. Mistakes are mistakes. You make decisions quick. Move on. And that's it. And that's what the last 11, 13 years of my life have been. New technology, new consumer behavior, and
What's the biggest change or the biggest difference from when you first started to now? 13 years. Like you said, technology from marketing, everything is different now. So like, what do you think? Like the
shit, Rico. I mean, fuck. Like I started from my kitchen table.
like
the rapper in the basement of his mom's basement. You know what I mean? Like the mad scientist in the basement. Yeah.
I started at my kitchen table. I started in my kitchen. I started because I was at a Taco Tuesday. I had this idea to make some powdered alcohol. And
powdered alcohol.
Yeah, powdered alcohol. That's how it all started.
That's a scientist for your ass.
I got to hear this right now. Let's go.
So there was a glass of water on my
write it
table.
down.
It was
Water?
a Taco Tuesday. I'm from back east, so we don't have Taco Tuesday back east. So when I come out here, I'm half Cuban.
Okay.
I don't even like Mexican food.
Sorry.
I'm just going to be perfectly honest.
Hey.
No offense to anybody. God bless everybody's
He said,
food.
"Fuck Mexican food."
No.
That's what he said.
I prefer Cuban food. That's it. I grew up eating Cuban food.
Platanos and everything.
Yeah. And so I'm at Taco Tuesday with a big group of people. It's packed. Waitress isn't coming fast enough for my margarita. I had a glass of water on the table. And I just thought to myself, how awesome would it be if I just had like some powdered alcohol I could just put in here? And I was like,
That's crazy. I would like that too.
and I was like, fuck, why hasn't anybody come up with that? And everyone's talking and everything, and I just go full Rain Man mode.
Sitting there
And
quiet.
I'm like, I grab a napkin, I draw out a protocol, and I'm like, fuck,
middle of the bar.
this is what I'm going to fucking do. And everyone's looking at me like I'm crazy, and I'm like calculating shit and doing this. Next day, I go to the store, I get a bottle of Everclear, I get some maltodextrin.
That's just strong.
I would like to be the test dummy for your powdered alcohol.
Yeah, so that was like the purest alcohol that I could get commercially without any sort of license or permit. And I had no access to a lab. At this time, I'm just a stand-up comic. Because I was a chemist, and then I became.
I didn't know that. Hold on. We have a lot to get into.
We're learning.
We have a lot to get into, but let's just keep it on the beer because this is crazy to me already.
And so I take a frying pan, some paper clips, coffee filters, and I make this 3-tiered spray dryer. It's the world's crudest spray dryer on the planet, right? And I was able to capture the alcohol vapors, the ethanol vapors, into the maltodextrin shell. In that process, I blew up my kitchen.
Oh, shit.
I caused a massive fire and a fucking blow up. But I was able to make 3 different flavors of powdered alcohol.
Shit.
That
And I
is
was like-
crazy, man.
And I was like, shit, I'm onto something. I'm onto something.
So how did it taste? That's what I want to know. How did the powder alcohol
It tastes
taste?
like whatever the flavor you're capturing the vapors are.
How much
so like
powder?
It was like green
what did you
apple.
put it in? Like a water? Like what did you put it in?
No, just in water. Just in water. And so then that led me down the path because I realized that the government.
All I know is we have to be friends. For that alone, like I'm like, oh my god, dude.
Yeah.
We had a good conversation before we started this, but wrestling, comics, powdered alcohol. Like where else are we gonna go?
He has everything.
Who's my best friend now?
All in one.
No, hey, if you want any nerd shit, just come over here. Anything from science to fucking pro wrestling, I got you covered. Marvel, DC, whatever you want in between. But actually, I'm actually a big basketball fan.
Oh really?
Like I played a lot of.
So you say from the East Coast. I'm a Mavericks fan. Boston's in it. I mean, that's the club. Who?
You know what?
I've been a Mavericks fan since Jason Kidd, so it's not like a. You know
I
what
grew
mean?
up 5 minutes outside of Manhattan.
Okay.
I will always say this. Fuck Boston.
Okay. For sure.
So and you know
know
what?
what these
Actually,
are.
I'm a big Kyrie fan.
Kyrie, no matter what, he's one of those players like he's one of those players like where you can't hate him. You know how like some people like dislike LeBron because
Yep.
of his attitude and shit.
Yep.
Kyrie's one of those players like he's soulful. You know what I mean? He plays for the game.
And he's from back east. He grew up in Jersey.
Okay.
Yeah, so he's like, I've read shit on Kyrie.
Uh-huh.
Like Kyrie's handles are crazy,
I think one of the best point guards
Ever.
top 3.
best handles ever. And I saw, I read this about Kyrie that he practiced without a backboard, so
I heard
that
about
he
that.
could learn how to like twist the ball so it would go in without the backboard. And it's crazy. It's like
That's love. That's when you get the love of the game. It's not just paycheck. And, You
Yeah.
know what I mean? Like that's love of the game.
I always
Listen,
tell people.
I love this conversation, but I've never heard of powdered alcohol, and I have
You
to.
still
finish
still
this. I'm like amazed by this.
Let me tell you something. You snort some powdered alcohol, you think you could fucking dunk. Okay? Okay, no. Don't do that.
We will not.
I'm telling
we
you,
will
basketball,
not.
this is the last thing I'm going to say about basketball. If I was 4 inches taller, I swear, I would have played D3.
At least you're honest. At least you're honest.
Yeah.
New Jersey or Knicks.
I give
No,
you-
the Knicks. I'm
I
a
mean
huge
Brooklyn.
Knicks.
Brooklyn or Knicks.
No, Knicks. No,
Knicks.
Knicks. I was actually at Game 7 that they lost.
Yeah, they actually they did hella good.
Smartcups was chosen to be part of the Wall Street Journal's Future of Everything event.
Okay.
And so I was there on a Sunday, and it was Game 7. I'm like, man,
Slip.
when we're going to do it. So I pulled out my Oakley jersey that I'd never worn before, ripped off the tag, and we lost. And so
Here's some
it was
water.
terrible. Hey, thank you. Appreciate that. But yeah,
Cheers, guys.
cheers to water.
To some good water, nice clean water.
H2O. So we got comedy, we got basketball, we got
We're
powder.
gonna get back into the powdered alcohol. I need to know
So-
more about this because
How is it a percentage? Like how is
what's
that?
the percent
like,
that
on the-
of
So we're never going to get to a stiff drink like this cup here. Like we're always going to be limited by the real estate of the cup,
Oh,
right?
okay.
The bottoms and the sides.
Yeah.
And so I think you're never going to get to like a triple malt scotch. You're never going to get to a stiff drink. Most will probably get between 4 and 6%.
okay.
which is a hard seltzer at the end
We
of
can
the day.
snort that. So I mean, I just
He's trying to take it. He's trying to take it up to 35. He's trying to.
I'm talking about
You
me
know what?
personally. You know what I'm saying?
He's one of those friends that I try that shit. You know what I mean?
I would definitely try that.
So the printing technology came to be because I realized that the government's never going to let you sell free-flowing powdered alcohol
Okay.
because of safety, regulatory issues, most importantly, taxation issues. So, but the printing technology solves all those problems because you know exactly how much is in every cup. You know how to tax it.
Okay. Yeah.
You know if you try to scratch it off, you're going to denature it. It's going to liquefy. So you're not going to be able to scrape it off and do any of that stuff. But the alcohol component was, and still is, most important to me because ethanol is a major carrier for medications. And so Smartcups started as a drug delivery system for patients who suffer from dysphagia. That's the difficulty swallowing tablets.
Oh, okay.
Right? But I commercialized it in food and beverage first for proof of concept. And so we rolled out with a line of energy drinks. So like that Red Bull that you're drinking.
I gotta show
Yeah,
you
yeah.
the back.
Yeah, show the back, yeah. And
You know how it goes.
yeah, I know how it goes. All right, so that energy drink that you're drinking, I can print them in cups. They're all stackable, right? So we rolled out with a line of our own formula, 125 milligrams of caffeine, amino acids, B vitamins, the sweetener, the flavor.
Yeah.
It's 10 cups like that. Toss it around. I always tell people I can ship 5,000 energy drinks from California to New York for $60.
Damn.
No other company can do that with their beverage line, right?
Yeah.
And all the end consumer has to do is grab a cup, add water, and then you have it in 30 to 60 seconds.
So it's infused in the cup.
It's printed.
Oh,
It's
okay.
printed. So the media takes us on as 3D printing, but we're not 3D printing. But why fight something? And it's the only reference point that the general public has, right?
Yeah.
What we really are is microencapsulated additive manufacturing. So it's kind of like Willy Wonka's wallpaper. You know how the schnozberries taste like schnozberries?
Yeah.
We can make that fucking wallpaper, right? So, and so like recently when I was doing the Wall Street Journal Future of Everything event, we actually had a mannequin with a T-shirt that had Tide printed on it.
Okay.
We had Nikes. I had UNC, the baby blue Nikes, and we printed in the insole. We printed antibacterial odor eaters right in there. So there were hot chocolate cups where you just add hot water and you have hot chocolate with micronutrients that I go out and I hand out to members of the homeless community in various regions of the country. Printed mouthwash. So the mouthwash, I think, is the simplest demonstration of the benefit.
Yeah.
By printing ingredients on surfaces, you're eliminating liquid from consumer products. By eliminating liquid, you're significantly reducing storage, transportation requirements, unnecessary packaging, shipping costs, and carbon emissions. Sure. And so that's why we're viewed as a sustainability technology. And so we can print everything from medications to personal hygiene products, alcohol, beverages, foods, bone broth. And so for me personally, because I'm a kid from the hood and because I'm the son of two immigrants and I grew up in low-income housing, I know what it feels like to go to sleep at night hungry. And for me, the ability to provide micronutrients and medications to people around the world in an efficient and sustainable manner is what drives me on a daily basis. Because I truly think that this technology can make a difference in the world. So now that you asked me before, what's the hardest part? The hardest part is there's no fucking manufacturing equipment. So we had to develop everything from scratch. Machines, yeah.
Damn.
So like my kids think I'm Groot from Despicable Me.
Yeah, I was
Like-
thinking that.
Like
and
I got
almost
like
the
a
same thing,
secret
kinda.
lair with like a bunch of minions and they're all building shit. No, I've been electrocuted like 6 times
Shit.
Damn.
in the last couple of years. Just not electrocuted, but shocked, like,
Yeah.
that's why I have this hair. That's why this is like this. But yeah, we finally, it took 4.5 years and a little over $8 million, but we were able to engineer, construct, and design a fully automated production line. And that's going to allow us to take on enterprise business. So moving forward, we may discontinue our energy drink line, and you'll never see a Smartcups branded product in the marketplace. What you'll see is someone else's brand powered by Smartcups technology. So we'll be the Intel inside.
Wow, so that's huge.
Yeah.
Like really huge, man.
It's a game changer. I'm surprised I haven't heard about this shit yet.
So for our audience, can you break down Smartcups? I know you probably did it a million times, but can you break it down for our audience?
How do you want me to break it down?
Like a little bit like of what it really is. So because our audience, I looked it up. I researched it beforehand, but I was just blown away.
So essentially, it's a plant-based polymer, proprietary, that is amphiphilic. Amphiphilic means that it is hydrophobic and hydrophilic. Hydrophobic means that it repels water. Hydrophilic means that it accepts water. The outer surface of this shell...
Which is the cup?
No, which is what we're combining the ingredients with. We don't make the physical cups.
Okay.
The physical cups, we can use whatever cup. We're not limited to printing just inside of cups.
Okay.
Like I could print on your face if you wanted me to.
Yeah.
And so...
No, it's stupid.
And so the shell is around the ingredients. The outer shell does a good job of adhering to the surface. And when it comes in contact with the liquid, it activates, releasing the ingredients. And then there's a self-stirring mechanism that creates a completely homogeneous product. So as everything's activated with the liquid, poof, you get that product. And so whatever product it is, whether it's antibiotics, by printing antibiotics, for example, we can print the isolated ingredients and eliminate the need for refrigeration for certain medications and for antibiotics. When you go to the pharmacy, they have the ingredients on the shelf, they mix it, they give it to you, and they say, hey, put it in the fridge.
Yeah.
Here, we're doing away with all that because we're keeping the ingredients separate. We have a printed egg project where it's real eggs printed in a bowl. You get 6 grams of protein. We could flavor it however, bacon, egg, bacon, cheese, jalapeno, and then put in like calcium, iron, vitamin D.
That shit is crazy.
4-year shelf life. It's no chemicals. Everyone's always like, what chemicals are in there? It's all safe. It's all real food. The polymer we use is plant-based. 4 years, no refrigeration needed, no heating apparatus, just add hot water. Boom, you got scrambled eggs.
Damn.
So think about what that could do for regions around the world that are starving.
Yeah. No microwave, no electricity.
No microwave, yeah. And refrigeration. People don't realize what refrigeration does to our environment and what refrigeration costs do to food costs.
Right. You eliminate the...
Yeah.
I'm just going to go up a little bit on him. Yeah.
Hold on. What's the pricing? Can you hear me?
Yeah, go ahead.
So what's the? Can you hear me?
Yeah.
What's the pricing for, say, something for like the eggs and versus if it was to be the medicine? Is it all different prices?
All different prices. Every application's different. It all depends on what the raw ingredients cost, right? But if you're buying in bulk, because we're not shipping liquid, costs go down.
Yeah.
Like right now we're selling a 10-pack of energy drinks for $15.99.
Damn.
That's $1.59 an energy drink.
Yeah, it's cheap. Compared to like what energy drinks are,
$3, $4.
Yeah,
$3-4. And think about how bulky they are.
Yeah.
Taking up room.
One of the applications that I'm most passionate about is water purification. So think about printing a water purification system inside of the cups. So now instead, when there's a disaster, a military, right? Whether it's Flint, Puerto Rico, Gaza, instead of shipping a case of 24 bottles of water, you could ship that same case size with 500 to 1,000 cups. Ship it to the location. They could use their existing water supply, put it in the cup, and now have potable water.
That is insane. So like, let's just say how many, if they had, how many times can they reuse it? Is it just that one cup?
It's single use.
Okay.
And so what I try to do is, and my team, what we try to do, I want to say one thing. I may have been the first crazy guy to come up with this, but I'm very blessed to have an amazing team. My team has bought into the vision. They've bought into the bigger picture. And without them, none of this shit would have ever happened. I want to do a shout out to my COO because Hey, shout out to my COO. Big up.
For sure.
Because without him, like if I get hit by a bus, he's the one running the show.
So he almost has like grandma's recipe. Like he has the recipe. Like
KFC's original. Yeah, he knows it. It's in his head. Yeah. So
I want to know though, like a little bit more, like on this end, like. So you're a scientist, but you're thinking of things like not just you're thinking of things to change the world, like really help it. So it's kind of I don't know. It's just
why isn't this man? I mean, I don't know your bank account, but you should be a billionaire right now.
Like this is crazy. The stuff that you're thinking about. You know?
I don't have a prenup.
But yeah, I would never. I mean, because you have like it's almost like you're like 10 times above like instant grits or you know what I mean, shit like that.
Here's the problem. The problem for the first couple of years was we didn't have a way to produce high volume
because there's no machines for it.
There were no machines, so we had to make everything. Machines, yeah. So our machines are patented. We're the only ones that have it.
Dang. That's even like crazier. I know it's a lot at the beginning, but later down the line, it's all you know?
Exactly.
No middleman.
Then the other part of it is, think about, everybody always goes, this company's going to buy you out, or this company's going to buy you out, this beverage company's going to buy you out.
No.
They've dumped billions of dollars into their existing infrastructure. Think about the biggest beverage companies, and I'm not going to say their names because I don't need a fucking problem. But just think about the polar bears.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. We know what we're talking about.
They don't make their money off of their syrup. They make their money off of their bottling and their distribution. So if you're going to tell me that I have a technology that's going to reduce the number of bottles I can fill and reduce the number of trucks that I'm going to put out on the road,
damn,
and price,
I didn't think about
and cost of bottles.
You're going to tell me that I'm not going to try to stop you?
That's huge. See, I own a diesel repair shop, right? So my whole business is trucking.
Yeah.
So that's what we work on. And I've had so many people that I know that have to fill the trucks up. It's a big deal, dude. Yours is going to be like, you'll be able to fill so much more in one truck.
Yeah. So UCLA published a study last September that showed that the average class 6 or 7 truck can deliver 31 times more product utilizing our technology. So think about that.
That's a lot.
100,000 units versus 3.1 million units. That's what we're looking
at. Game changer.
So people just wanted to bury you. That's probably what it really was.
Well, early on, I would say, I mean, there were some cease and desists that came out early on. But yeah, it's been hard. You know, you wake up early in the morning and you go, you know, which big company is going to try to get at me now? And my end goal really is to make an impact in people's lives. This is when people ask me, hey, what do you think about sustainability? I don't think about like pollution. I don't think about plastic around a turtle's neck. I think about, why do we even give a shit about the earth? Why do we give a shit about the environment? To preserve human life. So sustainability to me means, how do we improve the quality of life for people on this planet? And how do we enhance it? How do we preserve it? How do we further it? Right? And so when people ask me, battery-powered cars, that's sustainable. And people are like, yeah, this is great. I'm like, there's a 10-year-old fucking mining for cobalt. How have we improved anybody's fucking life?
Yeah.
That's just, it just is what it is.
It's that simple. I mean, when you think about it.
You know what I like? You got like scientist mixed with a little thug in you, and that's what makes you. I love that shit.
It's the book smart and street
smart.
Hey,
that's what I'm saying. Like this dude, that's why he's different. Because he has like some like real like thug in him. Where like, you ain't gonna fucking take me down, motherfucker.
No,
you know what I mean.
And that's why like you look at battery powered cars, and God bless him, he's brilliant at what he's done, and I have the utmost respect for him. And I'm not on his level at any point, financially, socially, anything, right? But in my humble opinion, a problem was created, and a secondary business was started to solve that problem. So in my humble opinion, SpaceX is nothing more than a glorified waste management company. Because what the fuck are you going to do with those batteries?
Yeah.
You're going to ship them out over there, and we're going to piss off some aliens. They're going to come back, and they're going to start fucking turf war. That's it.
Basically.
That's the truth.
So I need to know, like, how did you get into science the way, I mean, your mind just works so differently than everybody. But how did you get into science the way you did? Like, it just, was it natural?
As a kid, or?
Was it natural, though? Like,
oh, man.
But the thing is, what I like is I understand you, like, as a person. Because most scientists come in here, I would have to really think about a lot of shit they just said for it to register. But, like you talk like me. So it's like you're brilliant, but you talk like me. You know what I'm saying? I love that.
I tell people all the time, like, no matter what fancy piece of paper I got.
He's just dumb. Man.
Hey, no, I love that. He's just dumb. He said.
No, was that like a compliment or like a?
Well, it was a compliment to me.
It's a good compliment.
It was a compliment for me. Like, I like that. Man. I'm like, I can like understand this dude. You know,
it's like one of those things like explaining for dummies. Like
whatever, man.
Yeah.
Whatever.
No.
Now he's making me look bad and shit.
No,
I mean?
You're one of my smartest, I think, friends. Cheers to that. Cheers.
Yeah.
Cheers to niggas IQ. Cheers to niggas IQ.
This is cheers, you know, like, hey.
Here you go. And I always tell people this. At the end of the day, no matter how many fancy pieces of paper I have on the wall or which fancy university I went to, I'm still just a kid from the hood.
I love that.
Like, I'm just a kid from the hood. Like, I still think, like, I have my backpack here. Yeah. I literally have my backpack here. Like, Chris Rock has
and we don't know what's in that. You know, yeah, just like from the hood.
Like, I'm ready to fucking go at any point. Like,
yeah.
Like, Chris Rock had a joke, like, I don't know, years ago, that was like, shit, I still can't believe I live in this house, so I keep my bag there, thinking someone's going to kick me out of the house.
Yeah.
Like, I got all my shit ready to go, like, when someone goes, boom. So, in 2007, I moved to California, because I finished a comedy tour, and of all places, I end up in, like, Pleasantville in Orange County. OC housewife country. I've only lived in one fucking town the entire time.
I feel like you would have fit in there. Like, you're like,
no, I didn't. First day I'm there. First morning, I'm like, I'm gonna go get a cup of coffee, and the person I was with goes, "Oh, I'll drive you." I'm like, "Drive? I'll just go walk."
Take the train or something like that.
Yeah, I'm like, I'm gonna go walk. Now
you know why you should.
Now, when I see somebody walking in California, I'm like, that motherfucker, he ain't up to good.
Yeah.
Something's wrong with his ass.
Start clutching. Like,
but I'm like, yeah. So I'm walking through town, and this lady walks down by me with a little dog, bolts on her face, on her chest, and the big lips, and the yoga pants, and she's walking, and she looks at me, and she goes, "How are you?"
OC for sure.
And I looked at her, and I walked by her. I turn around, and I go, why the fuck do you give a shit? That's the truth. Like, I'm like, what the fuck?
Like, this is creepy. Why is everybody smiling 24 hours
why
a day?
why is everyone so fucking happy?
Why does everybody look like this?
Right.
Like in New York, you're
get the fuck
constantly
out the way, bumping. Yeah.
Our homeless people have shit to do. Like, if you're on an escalator, a homeless person behind you, he's like, get the fuck out of the way. I got shit to do.
Hey, if a homeless person got shit to do, then we're fucking up over here in California.
Yeah, we are. Like, I don't get California. You could be at a Starbucks, and people are just happy to be in line.
Right.
They're like, oh, yeah, the line's going on. And I'm like, I've been in line for
move the fuck on right now.
9 minutes? Order your fucking egg bites. Get the fuck out of here.
Like, it's coffee. Like,
yeah.
Figure it out, motherfucker. I hate that shit too.
Order it black. My son now, he orders, can I get a caramel frappuccino? I'm like, son, we need to start talking about.
We need to know what's up, you know.
Yeah, we need to start talking about some shit, all right?
The birds and the bees, ASAP, you know.
I'm like, I've been drinking black coffee since the day I was born, and I ain't changing. That's it.
So how did you get into comedy though? Like
So let me answer your first question.
Okay, let's do that.
How did I get into science? Because it leads into comedy.
Okay.
And so, I took my first chemistry class in a university when I was 10 years old.
Whoa. You took your first university class at 10 years old?
Yeah, so I was in the 5th grade, and the teacher went up to my mom and said, we think your son is a candidate for this special program. And she's like, okay. My mom's Cuban, my dad's Turkish, both immigrants. The one thing that my parents, God bless them for everything, all their faults and all their defects, they valued education.
For sure.
And I would say at 5 years old, I was looking around my town, and I was like, I need to figure out how to get the fuck out of here.
Already.
At 5 years old, I was like,
damn, at 5 years old, here I do.
Already.
Like 5 years old, I already had goals in my head. Like I'm like, I'm gonna.
I don't like these goddamn trains.
Yeah. And so they gave me a course catalog, and they said, here, pick classes. I'm 10 years old. To me, it's crazy now that legislation is being passed to allow 10-year-olds to figure out the course of, and I'm not going to get into it, but it's fucking crazy because at 10 years old, I literally dictated the rest of my life. The last 30 years of my life based on a decision that I made at 10 years old. Now, they gave me a course catalog, and I went, chemistry. Why? Because I like MacGyver. And I wanted to learn how to blow shit up.
You can get out of a box with.
That's it. Yeah, that's what I wanted to do. That's why I carry my book bag everywhere. It's like I got some chewing gum and some tape and some rope.
And he'll be able to start a car with that shit.
Yeah, that's right. Oh, don't get me wrong. My father's a used car salesman, auto body man, Middle Eastern from the Northeast.
You popping locks and all types of shit. You seen New Jersey Drive? You seen the movie New Jersey Drive?
Like he's like, oh yeah, this is how you hotwire a car. And I'm like, oh, this is cool. So from there, I started working in a lab when I was 12 years old at Stevens Institute of Technology. I started studying the degradation of aspartame in diet sodas at room temperature. Then I went on to do some research at Rutgers University in the Department of Nutritional Sciences. I had great mentors, people who believed in me. Because if not, I'm telling you right now, I'd end up in jail.
Yeah.
Like if people didn't like grab onto me, I would have
whole different way.
I would have figured out something else.
And you would have escaped from jail somehow too.
Probably.
You would have created some concoction.
But I wasn't always this like I'm naturally an introvert.
Yeah.
I didn't learn how to really like. My parents would take me to private school. It wasn't until like 7th, 8th grade that I went to public school. And then in high school, I jumped around a bunch of different private schools. And I finally told my mom, like, I just want to be normal. Right? Like, my mom didn't want me, because I had an overprotective Cuban mom. She didn't want me to go to college, like, full time. But so I got published. I went to college at 16 again. Went back to high school. I took some classes at Harvard. And then 18, 19, I worked on a NASA-funded project developing biologically based nanorobots. And then I was in American Chemical Society throughout this all. I'm at Cornell, and I'm like...
Cornell too?
Yeah, and I'm like, fuck this shit.
So you were in high school. You were in high school still, and going and taking college classes at the same time. At this point?
Yeah. So I took college classes all throughout, like from the time I was 12 on, like 10 on.
Were you getting the credits?
Yeah, I was getting the credits and all that stuff. So I'm at Cornell. I'm an American Chemical Society scholar. My parents couldn't afford college, so I was blessed. Scholarships everywhere. And I get to Cornell, and I'm like, I hate this shit. Like, I hate this. And I'm living my life based on what other people want me to do. And I was like, you know what? I want to be a stand-up comic. And that's how it started.
No shit.
Fuck this routine.
But like, you know, like, I'm naturally an introvert. This whole, like, me extroverted, making jokes, everything,
Same.
That I think was survival defense mechanism that I developed over the years. I remember there was one summer, all I wanted to do was play basketball. And there was a camp at one of the public schools, one block down from the apartment complex that we lived in. And I was like, I just want to go there. I took the cash that I had, and I bought one basketball. And I show up, and I'm like, I'm ready to play basketball. And one kid, Jose Munoz, Jose Munoz, Jose Munoz, Jose Munoz, Jose Munoz.
Do you flip him off?
Jose
Do you
Munoz.
flip him off? Or
No, we're friends on Facebook
Okay,
now.
cool.
I was about to say, Jose.
Good job, Jose.
Jose
You
Munoz.
dunked on my boy.
Some fucking Dominican guy. Probably he was in my grade, but probably 4 years older because that's how they do it in the Dominican Republic. And he shows up and he's wearing jean shorts, Timbs. He comes over. He's like, "You giving me your ball?" I'm like, "No, I'm not." And he's like, "You give me your ball or I'm going to stick a knife up your ass." And I went, "Here's the ball." And then I start watching what's going on the playground, and I start noticing that, like, you shoot for captains, right? Mm-hmm. So you shoot free throws. Whoever makes the free throw makes captain, and then you pick the teams. Mm-hmm. I didn't know anything about basketball, but I was, like, super intrigued by the sport. So I went to the library. I took out books to learn about all the rules.
Oh, shit.
So I read about Pete Maravich, Larry Bird, Magic Johnson, Michael Jordan, Bill Russell.
There needs to be a show about you, dude.
Like, I read...
A TV show.
I read up everything. The college coach from Duke, Roy Williams. I read up about everybody, right? And I just practiced my free throws. That summer, all I did was free throws because I figured
scientifically, though, huh?
Yeah, and I just figured if I can make my free throws, then I'm captain, and no one can fuck with me.
You pick him first,
and that's what I fucking did from that point forward. I'm like, yeah, I'm captain. Go fuck yourselves.
Smart.
That was it.
And that's what you call a smart hood, motherfucker.
That shit is dope,
like,
dude.
It's my ball now. I'm captain. I made the free throw. Let's go. So, like, if I could do any job other than what I'm doing today, and my oldest son, I coached him for probably 10 years, recreational ball. And I tell this to people all the time. And they look at me. They're like, because I'm 5'4".
Yeah.
I'm like, if I could do any other job that would fulfill me, it would be being a basketball coach.
That's dope.
That would be awesome. And I've coached, like, I have 3 kids. I've coached all of them in basketball. And that like, brings me joy.
So everything you do, is there, like, a science behind everything you do? Is that how you become, like, great at what you do?
I try to figure out the loophole in it.
The back door.
The back door, because I'm not athletically gifted. I just figure out, like, okay, if I'm not good at this, what am I good at?
Well, look at Brady. He's not like an athlete, but he's one of the greatest of all time.
Yeah.
I mean,
so like,
he's smart.
Exactly.
Listen to him speak.
Yeah, exactly. So, I mean, that's kind of how it goes down sometimes. But I feel like you probably put science in everything, like the best way to figure out
the best way to do it. Sometimes I throw a lot of shit to the wall and see what sticks, you know?
So how did you do comedy? Like how did that, like...
Honestly,
you're such a scientist, but I mean, you talk just like us.
And then you say,
honestly, like, I'm at Cornell. Honestly, I liked making people laugh. I liked making people happy.
You said I think it was a defense mechanism.
Yeah,
at first,
think so.
And then it just became like,
became like boom, because it was like, okay. Then I went to public school, and it was like, I actually forged my mom's signature so that I could play football. Mm-hmm. We had probably one of the best football teams in the history of New Jersey. Our running back is still on the Mount Rushmore of New Jersey athletes. But then, like, my science mentor found out, and she was like, no, you're not playing anymore. That's it. You got to protect your head. And it's funny because, like, my oldest son now plays for Jay Sarah. He's a freshman. He's going into his sophomore year. He's 6'3", 300 pounds. Fuck. And that kid's got a bright future. And, like, I talk to him, and it's like, okay, look, this is what you do in this situation. This is what you do in that situation. Because I see it in a different way than most people. I don't think I could ever coach football, though. And I don't think it would bring me joy because I would just get really fucking angry. Whereas basketball, I remember, this is years ago, I was coaching my oldest at an all-star game. And I pulled all the kids together. I go, listen, guys. You're all playing like a bunch of kids and living in a gated community.
Damn.
I need you.
That's the worst thing ever to say.
No, they're looking at me like this.
Hey, damn.
And I'm like, listen, I need you to start playing like kids from the projects. and you are living with your third mom's live-in boyfriend, and he's got horrible flatulence, and he's eating all the fucking chips, okay? So go out there with that level of anger. And one kid looks up at me, he's like, I'm like, yeah, you, who I probably won't play. What's up? And he's like, what are the projects? And I'm like, I'm done.
Oh, God.
Get the fuck out of here, you bunch of white entitled.
What's the project?
What's the project?
I thought he would say, what is flatulence compared to projects? You know what I mean?
No, flatulence, they know. And it's like,
Damn.
it's funny. Kids today, they're very weird. Like, they're very different than how I grew up.
Man, for sure.
Yeah.
Like, my kids today, they were like, yeah, that doesn't make me feel comfortable.
What?
I feel uncomfortable right now. I'm going to remove myself from this situation.
But you're still cool watching some weird
don't
shit
have
on
feelings,
TV.
you know?
You know what
I
I
don't know,
mean?
like, what the fuck you talking about? This doesn't make you feel comfortable. Eat your fucking beans.
Right. Gonna make you grow. Shut the fuck up.
Yeah. I'm like, stop. No, I mean,
The generation is just so different, man.
it is very different. I mean, I feel like kids today, I think the biggest issue today is that everybody's so into their emotions and their feelings, which is fine to an extent. But
If you're a girl. I'm just saying.
well, I feel like the one thing that separates us, and the ancient philosophers used to talk about this, the one thing that separates us from animals is our ability to reason and our ability to control our emotions, right? And today, it's the emotions that lead
Yeah.
and the reason that follows. And so I feel like this generation now is all about our emotions, what makes me feel a certain way. And it's like that, and most people are just wanting a pat on the back and being told how great they are, and they never really experience true failure. That's why when I speak to a privileged high school, I walk in there and I tell them, I don't like you guys. You guys have never experienced failure. You don't know what it's like to get punched in the face. You don't know what it's like to go to sleep hungry at night. Who's going to drive a Mercedes when they're 16? And then like a bunch of kids raise their hand. What the fuck have you done to earn a fucking Mercedes?
Exactly.
All right? Fuck you. And then when I go, like I just spoke to my old high school. And these are hungry fucking inner city kids. And they're smart. But they don't know any better. And I walk in there and I go, you guys think you're disadvantaged. You look at all the rich areas and you go, I want to be like that guy. You don't realize that you're more advantaged than any of these fucking rich kids walking around because you know what failure is.
You got that grinding.
You know resilience. You know how to grind it out. You know how to be tenacious. You know how to fucking go do it. Don't think of yourself as disadvantaged. Use that to your advantage. If you've ever gone to sleep hungry at night, use that as a chip on your shoulder. And that's not a sexy thing to say anymore.
No.
Because there's these like, oh, that's traumatic.
I know.
And I'm like,
That's where you come from. And
it is what it is.
I got kids and I'm the same way, dude. I'll just be on them. Like, I can let my kids be sissies, dude.
Yeah.
We don't know what's going to happen in this world. We got to be prepared. Like, and if your kid's going to be like some sissy dude, or even my daughter, like I had her in jiu-jitsu. I talk stern to them. You got to be direct. I don't play that stuff, man. Like,
Yeah.
because you don't know what happens in this world. Like a war can break out at any time. You don't know that.
You
And then
gotta-
what? My kids are not going to be ready to be hiding in the corner. Like, I don't like the way that makes me feel. It ain't going to happen. You know.
I mean, this is an unpopular. I'm not even gonna say. I'm not. Gonna
Hey,
go
we're
into
still
it, but,
good,
like,
man.
No, I'm gonna say like sometimes conflict is necessary
It is.
to some extent. You know, in the history of the world, conflict is necessary in order for the progress of civilization.
If you don't go through conflict as a human being, how are you going to grow?
That's right.
You know, you have to go through stress, conflict, anything that has to do with building yourself up. Like how are you just going to go through life and everything's beautiful? How are you going to learn? How are you going to build yourself? There's no way. There's no way you'll be owning a business.
No.
There's no that be on your level or own something because you're just like so used to just butterflying through life.
No.
And then when conflict happens, then then you're not gonna know what to do, and you're gonna fold.
And you fold
Right.
and you crush down.
My
And
whole
so,
life
like,
is conflict.
I've got two quotes up on my wall. One of them is Biggie in my office, and it was all a dream. And that's my anthem. Juicy is my anthem. You put me in any karaoke, I will
First one you
fucking, and
seen?
people will be like, "Oh shit!"
We're gonna have to go to karaoke.
Yeah,
dude.
I'll start. Super Nintendo, Sega Genesis. When I was dead broke, man, I couldn't picture this.
Yeah.
So, and then the other quote is the Rocky quote, as cliche as it is, because life is hard.
Yeah.
And it's not about how many times you get knocked down. It's about how many times you get back up. And so throughout the course of Smartcups, you know how many times I've been knocked down? This thing, I eat, sleep, breathe, shit, everything.
There's no plan B?
There is no plan B. This is my life's work. And I am going to go see this thing through. And people see that passion, and that's why they buy into my vision, because there is no alternative for me.
I love that.
How many stores are you in right now? Or is it in stores, or is it all just like online type?
Everything
type
is
thing?
online, direct to consumer, and we're pivoting our business model now all to B2B. Like I said, so you'll never see a Smartcups branded product. So we're actually about to launch our first enterprise deal in the pet industry, and so it's printed
like
pets,
dog food and
dogs and cats supplements in disposable, recyclable dog and cat bowls. And so you just add water and you give it to your pets. And so they're killing two birds with one stone. Pet bowls are havens for bacteria, and getting supplements to your pets is a pain in the ass.
Yeah.
And so here they can do it in a sustainable and efficient manner. So boom, right? And so we're looking to just knock down just a bunch of these over the next 2 to 3 years. And we're eyeing our second facility now.
Is the one that you have now, is it based out of California?
It's based out of California, Orange County, Mission Viejo.
Okay.
23,000 square feet. But we're looking at probably a 50 to 100,000 square foot facility. Our next one. Potentially out of state. So California, if you got tax rebates, hit me up. But yeah, that's where we're at right now.
Any other patents?
We're always working on IP, and we've got a couple more patents coming in.
Is it for the same product or different things, like with the
It's about
powdered alcohol? I don't know why I'm so interested in the powdered alcohol.
different layers of the technology to protect us.
Okay.
So that, the big guys can't come in and try to screw us over.
And of course they're going to try. Yeah. They always want to destroy the smaller companies, dude.
Yeah,
it's just the way it is.
And it's just so much easier. Like the big companies, the big facade is the big companies don't innovate. And I said this at a keynote speech that I did in March.
They don't, though.
No. And I spoke to, a couple thousand scientists from around the world. I was a keynote speaker, and they lost my presentation, and I was like, doesn't fucking matter. Just put me on there.
Of course they did.
All right.
And
I love how you just didn't care, though. You're like, just put me on. I don't give a fuck.
Well,
haters gonna hate.
The most time I ever did on stage doing stand-up was an hour 45 minutes in South Africa, Johannesburg.
That's a whole fucking
So
show.
You were meant for this then, because they can't stop you. You're gonna go up regardless.
No, I'm just gonna, and like I'm sweating profusely and all this shit, and I'm like, man, it's not the black babies I gotta worry about, it's the white ones, shit like that, and shit like that. But I went up and I just like, how many people watched Oppenheimer, the movie? And everybody raised their hand. I go, and everybody wants to talk about the ethical conflict and, innovation and science. And you know what my main takeaway from Oppenheimer is? No one gives a shit about smart people. No one gives a shit about smart people. They will use you. They will chew you up, and then they will spit you out.
They just want to make money on your idea, but not give you any of it.
Exactly. And nobody really gives a shit about innovation. They say they care about innovation. And this is what I say to the young scientists when I judge science fairs. They talk about, I can oxidize this and that, and my conclusion's this, and my results are that. And then future work, this is what I'm going to study. I said, you still haven't told me why I give a fuck about your current work. And now you want me to fund your future work? This is the reality of life. And I say to them, I go, no one gives a shit about what you give a shit about unless you make them.
Yeah.
And so that's what you got to learn. What's the practical application that your research has to the real world? How are you impacting people's lives? How are you making money for people? That's what scientists need to learn. And so when I talked to the scientists, I just said, the reason why they chew us up and they spit us out is because we let them. Mm-hmm. We let them. Why? Because we're analytical, mathematicians.
A lot of them don't have balls.
Scientists, engineers. We're not good communicators.
But even so, like even with new business owners, like they'll take money that they think will change their lives, but it really doesn't, and they'll be bought off. So like what you're saying is completely true because, dude, they want to buy you out with hardly anything, but it looks great to you because they think you're desperate.
Well,
you know.
Here, I'll give you an example. So right after Food Stars, I bought out my partner of 9 years. Great. Invested a boatload of money into Smartcups over 9 years, but we didn't see eye to eye. And fundamentally, we had philosophical differences in terms of business, how to treat people. And he was older, and he's a real estate guy, so he didn't really understand the strategy behind it. Mm-hmm. I restructured the company, but he deficit funded the company. So my pants were around my ankles. I started talking to private equity, individually wealthy people. Everybody smelled blood in the water. Mm-hmm. And people would come into the office and say, oh, you're the scientist. We're going to put you in the corner back in the lab.
Damn.
And we're going to get a new CEO to run the company. Mm-mm. And I'm like, yeah, but Food Stars is coming out. Don't you know what the hell is going on? Oh, no. Because people can't see the vision. Unless they see it, now all
so
those...
You got to make them see it.
They all were like offering me... One of the most insulting memo deals I ever got, they essentially were betting for me to fail, to take over all the IP. And I'm talking to the guy, I'm not going to mention his name, but talking to the guy, and he represented a group of very wealthy guys, old money from back east. And he's like, well, no, legalese is very confusing to you, and I can understand, like, you don't understand. And he kept saying, you don't understand.
But you're a fucking scientist.
And I'm just trying to be polite. And I'm being diplomatic and I'm being polite, the professional thing, right? I finally said to him, I said, listen, you have told me that I don't understand the contract like 10 times already.
I love that. Actually.
If you say it to me one more time, I'm going to flip out. I'd like to put some things into perspective for you. When you were 14 years old, figuring out how to play with your dick, I was disproving Harvard professors. I was doing PhD level work. So shut the fuck up, please.
I love that shit, dude.
2 minutes later, he goes, you don't understand. And I flip the fuck out. And I go fuck yourself. All right? So I didn't take any.
I love that, dude.
Like you said,
people need to hear this shit because business is hard and people always want to fuck you over in business all the time.
And nobody, like you said, nobody's going to see what you see.
And a lot of people will always say to me, hey, Chris, you're too nice of a guy. You're too nice of a guy.
You got to be diplomatic at some point.
And I'm like, though. I'm not. It's not that I'm a schmuck. Like, I can see you coming a mile away, coming to fuck me over. But I'll still let you fuck me a little bit. Just because in my mind, it's like.
You play stupid a little bit. I do the same thing.
Yeah, I play stupid.
I don't know more, but I used to. So I even friends. I went into business with friends.
Yeah.
I'm not at your level, right? But I went into business with friends.
My level. What the fuck is my level?
Well, dude.
Shit,
you know what I mean?
You changing the world.
I just love.
I haven't yet though.
Yeah, but it's coming though. It's coming though.
But it's just crazy because like I let people. I play stupid on purpose, but in reality, I know everything that's fucking going on.
I see and hear everything. I'm just not going to react to how you want me to.
And the thing is, I want to see how far these motherfuckers want to take it. Because I ain't signed shit yet, right? So let's see how far you want to take it. Because now I know definitely I ain't going to fucking trust you.
Well, and here's the thing on that. After the TV show aired, all those same people that were trying to fuck me... I'll tell you one story. I'll tell you one story. I met one very wealthy guy. And he tells me how rich he is and all this stuff and how he wants to, like, partner up and this and that. Well, he smells blood in the water. And he's like, oh, no, I don't have the money right now. He goes, when's your payroll? I'm like, I don't think I can make payroll. Next payroll. He calls me every day on payroll every 2 weeks for a year. For
God,
a year.
That's a lot of fucking calls, dude.
And he's like, oh, just checking in. How's it going? It's going well. And like the first couple like months, I'm being nice and everything. Finally, I lost my fucking shit. And I said, I know exactly what the fuck you're doing. You're hoping that I can't make payroll, but I'm going to tell you something. God's got my back. Period. And this shit, I'm doing it without you. And you're going to sit on the sidelines, and you're going to wish that you would have had a different attitude. Now, all these guys come back to the table, and they go, hey, is there an opportunity to work with each other or this and that? No, you showed me your true colors. You lost your chance. Because when you're down, that's when people show you their true colors.
Exactly.
Yeah.
When they think they have you by the balls,
They want to kick you.
act a
and they
way.
want to kick you, that's when you know who they truly are.
Yeah.
Now, going on the TV show, I always knew I was going to become a target. Yeah. You win $250,000. You know how many phone calls you get? Mm-hmm. Everyone thinks that goes in your pocket. No, that was an investment into the company. That doesn't go in my pocket. Little did I know that family members would be the ones targeting me.
Yeah.
The first ones. The worst ones, sometimes.
And the closest family members.
Yeah, I know.
And that's the hardest pill
been
to
through
swallow because people that I thought would never be the pieces of shit that they are the ones that are like in my fucking pocket trying to take me down. And I sit back and I'm just the same motherfucker I've always been. You know what?
They don't say that though. They say you changed and all this bullshit.
Like, I didn't. Like, I didn't.
We know we ain't changed. You know what I mean? And even if we did, yeah, we're changing now because we saw what the fuck you are.
Let me tell you something.
You know?
There are people who know me from 30 years ago. They're like, you're still the same guy. 30 years from now, let's say even if I do become a billionaire, let's say even if I am a fucking badass,
He's gonna become one.
I'm still the same fucking guy.
Yeah.
I'm still showing up. I'm still saying the same shit. I'm still acting the same way. That's it. That's the only person I know how to be. I had one investor tell me, because I used to wear a backwards Yankees cap, and he used to tell me, oh, your Yankees cap is offensive. If you want to be a real business guy, you need to like stop wearing the Yankees cap. And I go, no, I ain't changing the Yankees cap. That's it.
Can't change who you are. That's who you are. That's what. If you weren't who you are, you wouldn't be where you're at today.
No.
You would be somebody else. You'd be,
I'd be
doing something else. So you got to stick to that.
I can tell you, dude, you've been through a lot in business, and I have too. But like, I feel like not even on your level. Like the way what you've been through is like, it's just different because you had so much. You were on TV, all kinds of stuff. So people are gonna they're like sharks, just going after you.
And I always I told my immediate family, I said, be careful, because after this, there's going to be a lot of people who want to be your friends.
Yeah.
And you got to be arm's length to all these people. Like, you don't ever want to be a target. Like, there are websites with my net worth. And I go on there. One day it's 50 million. Another day it's 150. Another day it's 500 million. I'm like, where the fuck is this money? Where the fuck is this money? And then it drops down to like 200 grand. And I'm like, what the fuck did I do? And then I start thinking in my head, I'm like,
What did I spend? What did I get?
what mistakes did I make this weekend? You know, but that shit, the internet's changed the game. I think that the internet,
For sure.
like, completely bastardized the educational process. Because when I was a kid, if you wanted to get an A, you had to go to the library.
And research and read.
You
that
had
shit.
to go to the card catalog. You had to assume that the librarian did their job and put the cards where they were supposed to be and the books where they were supposed to be. Then you go find the book. Then you read the book. And then you extrapolate. Or you had a typewriter and you had to type it up. And if you fucked up, that was 3 hours of your fucking day.
Now you can just Google this shit.
Plato, Socrates, Aristotle, they all said technology was going to help us cultivate our minds. Right? It was going to give us time to cultivate our minds. What the fuck are we doing with our time? We're on Instagram, we're on TikTok, we're on Facebook, we're posting shit.
Like zombies in a sense, you know?
We're like, you know? Now, there's great innovation that comes out of that, but
Yeah, if it's used
I feel
right.
like those barriers of entry, like, if you weren't willing to do the work, you weren't getting an A.
Yeah.
Period.
If you did that work, you got an A. Knowledge was something that you had to access and you had to work for. Today, information is so free-flowing. Every idiot can be like, oh, yeah, an armadillo's penis is this big. You know? And it's like, oh, shit, you're really smart. Wow.
Yeah, I know.
Now
You know how big an armadillo
Google that
is?
shit.
You just got information. Like anybody can do that, but what are you going to do with that information? Like how are you going to create it into what you need
That's
to create
right.
it into?
And that's why I think not everybody has the capacity to absorb and interpret properly information. And I think one of the skill sets that schools need to start adopting, and it has to be part of the curriculum, is how do we absorb and interpret information, and how do we filter out the sources of information so that we know what's good information and what's false information. And how can we become, like, I guess, our own detectives of information?
Exactly.
I think that's an important skill set for
I do
kids.
too.
Because, like,
When
how
you have
many-
kids, you think about that shit 24/7
Yeah.
too. You know. So what's next for you? What is next for you as of right now? Like with your product, with you personally, with whatever is going on, what is next for you?
For me, I mean, the one thing that's driven me over the last 12, 15 years is my kids, right? Like,
Love it.
I don't operate for personal awards or achievements anymore. Although, when I was on the Gordon Ramsay show, Food Stars, you know,
Shit felt good.
I talked about Nobel Prize. And I think if we get certain applications into market and we can get strategic partnerships with some organizations globally, we can actually make a big difference. Not to say that I want to win a Nobel Prize, but even if I get nominated for one, if Smartcups gets nominated, that means that the work that we did was worthy to that level, right? But long term, you know, one of my passion projects, you know, obviously I want to get Smartcups adopted globally. I want to get a bunch of different applications out globally within the next 5 years. But for me, past that, one of my passion projects has always been to start my own school. So I've wanted to start my own school for inner city kids, even a basketball program, you know, with a school component. That's always been a passion project of mine. Something like what LeBron did, where, like, if you finish, we'll pay for your college. One of those things.
Yeah.
And, like, I mentor a bunch of kids and whatever, and I always say to, you know, teachers and principals, and I go, give me your worst kid. Give me the kid who's most likely to shank me. That's the kid I want to talk to. That's the kid who...
You got like real
Who has
passion
something.
for stuff like that then.
Yeah.
Because what you're doing in life already is huge. And you still go back to that.
I always...
That's not normal. That's not a lot of people do that.
I will
Never forget where it
always
came
go
from.
back to the hood. And I will always...
Why?
Because that's where I come from. That's what
But it
I
has
know.
to be more than that because
Because I know what it feels like to feel hopeless,
There it is.
helpless. I know what it feels like to not have money in your pocket and be hungry. I know what it feels like to be in a chaotic situation and not have an outlet. So if I can help, you know, a few people, then they help a few people, then they help a few people, and then it spreads out like that. You know, for me, the most I can do right now is I go off and I go talk to kids.
Yeah.
And I give them advice, and I give them mentorship, internships or whatever. And if they get something out of me, they get something out of me. You know how humbling it is. Like, I'll be somewhere and people recognize me from Food Stars, and they go, you know, you're inspiring. You inspired me to start my own nonprofit. And I'm like, shit,
That's deep.
that's humbling. That's humbling. And so, like I said earlier, I'm a scientist that believes in God, and I believe that everybody's given a gift. And for whatever messed up reason, this is my gift, and I believe that this is what I've been chosen to do. And if I go on this path, I think there's an opportunity to help a lot of people. And I think everybody is given a gift. And
Yeah,
I
for
think it's
sure.
our responsibility to figure out what that
Bring it
gift
out, yeah.
is and to give back to humanity. Because ultimately that's
That's what we're here for.
That's what we're here for.
So we're running out of time, but I do want to ask you one last question. So take away all that, everything you've done from Smartcups to all that, dude. Who are you deep inside? If your heart can speak to us and say, "This is who I am," what would it tell us?
Loyal, generous, compassionate, tenacious, and resilient.
And funny as hell too.
Hey, sometimes.
You're a good time, dude.
Yeah.
Hey, that's sometimes.
You're a good time.
Sometimes. You know, but it's tough, you know, when people ask me about who I am. But over the last, I'd say, 3 years, I've really had to sit back and think about, like, who am I really? Mm-hmm. Like, you strip away the labels, you strip away the business, you strip away all these things, the diplomas, all that crap. Who am I? At the end of the day, Joey Diaz has this joke. He goes, all you need is 3 motherfuckers.
Yeah.
And Joey Diaz grew up in my town.
Oh, okay.
Union City, all right?
I
and
love
he's
that.
Cuban from Union City. All you need is 3 badass motherfuckers, right?
Take over our country.
Let me tell you something. If you need one spot open, if you got one spot open and you need it filled, you call me. Because I figure shit out. And if you got my back, I will always get your back. That's why my COO and I've known him since 2007. I brought him on board. He was my first employee at Smartcups, and I said, I need someone I can trust. And he wasn't even on board to be COO. And he's exceeded every fucking thing. And you could talk to each and every single one of my employees. I got their fucking back. Everybody that comes in my life, no one can ever say, I fucked them over.
Period.
Maybe things don't work out a certain way, but you better damn bet that if I say I'm going to do something, I'm going to fucking do it. Like, I was Mike Tyson's chief science officer for like 4 years. They brought me on board to create the purest CBD on the planet. 2.5 fucking years. Me versus a multi-billion-dollar company.
He chose
and
you.
their teams, and he's like, man, Quiff, you so smart, man. What do you want to do when you grow up? And I'm sitting in a room with him, and I look at him, and I go, I just want to be in a room with Mike Tyson. And I go back to work, and he's like, man, Quiff, you doing it? You doing it, Quiff?
That's what is funny.
And it's like he just fucking, like his brain blew up, like he just granted a Make-A-Wish Foundation wish or some shit. He thinks I'm a child. No, I got more Mike Tyson stories. That's for another fucking episode. If you ever bring me back.
What do you think about the fight?
Dude, you have to come back. Like,
yeah. What
this
do
is
I
a
think
great
about the fight?
episode.
Yeah.
I watched him train for that first fight against Roy Jones.
Yeah.
He's a fucking monster.
At his age too? Shit.
I watched him crack his first sparring partner's ribs, and I watched him fucking knock out the next sparring partner's tooth out of his fucking mouth.
And he's what, like 50 something?
He was like 55, 56 at the time.
Grandpa.
And I'm sitting there,
bring him
and I'm
with
like,
you,
it was
too.
during COVID, and I'm making a haircut appointment. Yeah.
I
You
was
look at my-
like, is that-
Sometimes I cut my own hair, and I'm like, oh, fuck. I'm one of those kids that's like, shit, I got to save $10. I got to fade my own hair with a mirror, and I'm like, oh, shit. But I watched him knock his guy's tooth out, this kid's tooth out of his mouth, and I'm like, oh, shit. The reason why, 5th round of sparring, kid got cute. Mike switched. Boom, boom. Mike don't like that. Now,
Damn.
Because he's humble. I mean, back then he would cuss you out in the interview.
Yeah.
Remember the interview? I eat your kids. He's different now, though.
yeah, I love Mike. Mike's a monster. Mike was put on this planet for one purpose and one purpose only,
He said it himself.
and that is to
He's a gladiator, dude. Like he was
That one
destroy
podcast,
people.
he
he
said
was
that. He
just
said, I'm a
born in the
gladiator.
wrong era. He was
It's
born in
like,
gladiator
shit,
days.
man. Like, and honestly, I feel bad for Jake Paul.
I hope he
But
destroys him. I want to see
also,
it.
during that first fight, I meet Nate Robinson's people.
His
And
ass
I
got
love
knocked
Nate
out.
Robinson because I'm a
That's-
big fucking Knicks fan.
Yeah.
Big Knicks fan. And I see the Paul brothers walk through the office and all that stuff.
No
and I
way,
was like,
really?
And I'm like, Because everybody rolled through there. Everybody. And the first day I went in to go have a meeting with the Fortune 500 company that had this task. It was like Mike watching cannibals eat people on YouTube on a screen. And then LL Cool J walked in, and he's sitting over here, and they're talking to each other. It was the most fucked up Oreo cookie on the fucking planet. and I'm like, and I won't talk about the shit that they were talking about, but it made me feel very uncomfortable because I was like, shit, man. But I watched everybody walk through there, and if Mike doesn't knock out Jake,
something's going on. I think
I'm just saying
they're too nice. He's too nice.
I'm just saying, if Mike doesn't knock him out, Mike can knock him out. Yes. But Nate Robinson's people came in and they were like, "Oh yeah, Nate," and I'm like, "Well, shit, I watched him fucking dunk on Shaq and block his shot. Mm-hmm. He's one hell of an athlete. There's no way he's losing to these fucking guys."
Yeah.
So I sponsored him. Nate. He came out with Smartcups on the trunk, Smartcups on the back, Smartcups everywhere. Everyone's like, "Oh," I go, "I've never seen him fight, but I've seen him play basketball, and I love it." First round, boom, he starts fucking swinging. I'm like, oh, shit, he's never been in a fight a day in his life.
You could tell the way he was swinging, too.
Yeah, it was like...
It wasn't like a...
It wasn't,
you know what I mean?
Strategic. It was like, boom, 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 wild shots, sorry. And he's like, wild. And I was like, shit. And then in the second round, he gets knocked down, and my phone's blowing up. And we're still a young company. And I'm going, shit, like, it's COVID. There's no sports going on. This is the biggest sporting event of the year. And I'm like, fuck, man.
I was put to sleep.
And like 10 seconds in, I'm like, shit, we'll do a melatonin cup. That was
Nighttime.
it.
You got his ass knocked. You didn't see the fight? You got his ass knocked out.
Yeah,
because
the memes for that shit was
no failures.
crazy.
There's only opportunities.
Yeah.
That's it. So
well, Nate failed that day.
Well, we got to definitely have you on again, man. Are you down to come on again?
Absolutely.
Oh, dude.
Yeah.
We
I'll tell
appreciate
you
it, man.
every story I got.
Yeah, we got to.
I didn't even touch the surface.
Man.
Oh, dude.
We didn't even talk about food stars.
Yes, we got to get more. We got to get more. So, like, you have Irene's email and all that stuff.
Yep.
So, dude, let's get you on again.
Yeah,
for sure.
I'll come on.
Our slogan is "Shed the Sheep." Can you say "Shed the Sheep"?
Shed the sheep.
Let's go.
We appreciate you coming on.
How's over Bass?
How's over Bass? I'm Jacob Casas.
I'm Rico Savage.
And we are out.